All right, good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, November 9th, 2021, and we're going to get started here with our pre-market analysis on the S&P 500 futures market. It looks like yesterday was pretty much an inside day. We never broke out of the previous daily range from Friday, so despite having that bullish bias, expecting a push to break the all-time high up here around 47.11. We made it all the way up into 07, or pretty much 07 even, and then kind of sold off and have essentially been sideways since that occurred. Again, stuck inside all of the price action from Friday here. So let's take a look at what the higher time frames are saying this morning. I think we're probably going to be pretty straightforward as far as the conditions for what we want to do this morning. Essentially, we need to get outside of this previous daily range, as you can see marked with the red for the previous daily high, green for the previous daily low, 50% being that magenta line right there. We ideally need to get out of this area for any type of confidence one way or the other. But let's go ahead and take a look here. Our quarterly looking very strong, no signs of exhaustion. Again, the monthly, in my opinion, still looks very strong, especially with that bullish engulfing bar we talked about last week. However, there is a potential for that bearish signal to form. It's going to take quite a while to actually see that, though. Our weekly also looking very strong, except we do have that very clear bearish divergence off the high. Keep in mind, if we just go back in time here, we have got bearish divergences off highs. They do lead to some type of shallow pullback and a continuation. And then also remember, this candle needs to close before we can actually call this an official bearish signal. So for now, it looks like it's there. We need to wait for this candle to close, which is going to take till the end of the week. So we'll come back and take a look at that. For now, in my opinion, things still look very strong here. Ideally, for the bullish case, they are going to break above that high that we made at 1175, the all-time high. Coming up to they're coming down to the daily here. Really not anything new from a divergence perspective. Of course, looking really strong throughout this entire push. And then the only thing that I notice here, and I don't even think this is really the most valid thing, but I am noticing we're making higher lows in price, but the RVI so far has been making lower lows from that perspective, if you look at it from that. But again, we're looking at a straight line, not necessarily something that I like to hang my hat on. So just see that right now. That would be, if it was anything worth really hanging our hat on, that would be somewhat of a bullish indication. But again, probably a little too grasping there for something. Outside of that, the daily does, again, look strong, except for that bearish, potential bearish candle we got back on Friday. So we had 50% of the bar had a wick to the upside. We said coming into yesterday, Monday of this week, that ideally we would need to get above the high of that bar to negate the bearish look to that. So far that has not occurred, and we're still, again, stuck within the range from Friday where we got that bearish bar, and currently our current daily bar still stuck within the range from yesterday. So starting to get a little bit of a coil up going on here. Go down to our 4-hour. Our 4-hour does not have a bearish argument from the previous daily high, and it has a bullish argument from the previous daily low, and then a bullish argument from the overnight low where we pulled back. And as we go to the shorter time frames, you'll see I think we got a double bottom down there. And so right now, nice bullish signal from there, official close signal, no bearish signals on the 4-hour. So starting out right now looks like more of a bullish than a bearish argument. Let's go take a look at the 60-minute. 60-minute had the agreement from the previous daily low back here, has agreement on the bullish case from the overnight low, even has a nice bullish signal from this pullback here. So if we look at this leg, and the 60-minute might be it might be better to jump to a shorter time frame to see this clearer. But we've got this push up, we pulled back, and we bounced right at the 61.8 retracement of that leg and got a nice bullish divergence here. and we're going to see it on a few time frames. I don't think it's on every time frame, but we are seeing that right now. Again, off the 60-minute retracement of that leg up from the overnight low. So that's an ideal place for the bulls to jump in. Got the bullish divergence. And I think there is an argument for the bears off the overnight high when we get down to the 60-minute. Remember, we don't see it up here on the 4-hour. 4-hour still just has the bullish argument with no bearish signals. The 60-minute did have a bearish signal off the overnight high, but then we've got the pullback, so we pulled back from 46.97 to just about 46.87 for a 10-point pullback, and then we got the bullish divergence and this attempt to push higher now. So a little bit coiled up in that area, but the bullish argument from the overnight low and from the previous daily low is in agreement with our 4-hour. So right now we're getting an alignment to the bullish side. Let's jump down to the intermediate time frames just to see if we're getting agreement down here. Our 30-minute, there you have it. Really nice bullish divergence from the overnight low. I think we said not as strong of a bullish case from the previous daily low back here when we were looking yesterday was our overnight low. Not necessarily the strongest bullish divergence over there, but we do have it off the overnight low, so that also agrees with our 60-minute and our 4-hour. And then we even have the agreement on that bearish signal from the overnight high, and there's that 10-point pullback. The 30-minute right now is essentially giving us kind of the exact same picture as the 60-minute, and then our 10-minute as well. So 10-minute had bullish divergence from the overnight low, bearish from the overnight high, bullish from the pullback that we talked about where we saw that on the hourly chart down here off this 86.75. So just a bunch of agreement, which is a good thing, and the bullish divergence from the previous daily low. So just putting everything together here this morning, a little bit more of an argument for the bulls off of the lows than there is a bearish argument from the highs. There are a little bit more of some bearish arguments from the overnight high here, but that's kind of counterbalanced by all the bullish stuff that we're seeing off the lows. So we're going to have to see who wins out here, because there's essentially kind of an equal argument on both ends from the bearish overnight high and the bullish overnight low and this pullback that we're looked at over here. But then from the previous daily high, that's where we would like to really see a nice clean bearish signal, and we just don't have it. So kind of like going into yesterday's market, we didn't have the strongest bearish argument from the previous daily high from Friday's high, which was our all-time high. That's why we expected a push to break, at least test it, if not break it, and continue to push to new all-time highs. This morning, it's the same situation. We're coming in, our previous daily high does not have a strong bearish argument, but then we also have some strong bullish arguments on every time frame from the previous daily low and the overnight low. So this morning we are expecting, just from if we add up what all the signals are saying, we're expecting that push to come up, at least break through, or at least test, if not break through that overnight high, or that previous daily high. And then again, because the all-time high up here at 47.1175 does not have a huge confluence of bearish signals, I would also expect that we are going to break that. If not, again, come up into that general area and get some type of double top, or a little test through and then a failure. But right now, this is sitting up here with really no strong bearish argument, and then the previous daily high as well. So I think that's where we'll leave it for this morning for our YouTube audience. To just summarize here with everything as far as the levels go, ideally for the bulls this morning, they're going to hold this pullback around 86.75, but ideally, so hold that, but they can come all the way down to the overnight low, and if they hold that, that would still be a bullish argument. Keep in mind that 46.9150 is 50% of the previous daily price action. From the bullish perspective, we want to stay above that and continue to hold above it. And then if we zoom in a little bit here, it's hard to see, but 46.91 quarter, this level just below it, is 50% of the previous 4 hours. So they're essentially in alignment this morning. So again, staying above that area and holding above it is what we would want the bulls to do this morning. Just can't rule out the fact that a pullback to retest that 86.75 or retest the overnight low is also a possibility. And again, for the bullish case, the most ideal thing, they would hold these levels and eventually come up to test the previous daily high. That's what we would expect this morning. Again, all of the bullish stuff we got from the previous daily low, just a few points below that overnight low, also is going to be critical there. Again, because we have so many bullish signals from that previous daily low, we'd like to see that hold. So if they do break that, pull back to 86.75 area, they do break the overnight low, there's still the previous daily low that would ideally hold for the bulls because of all the signals we got there. Once that breaks, we're down, pulling back into some more of these levels below us. And I think on my 60-minute, I went ahead and I did a fib retracement earlier, maybe yesterday we talked about it. And we talked about how we got this pretty good pullback here, got this double bottom and this launch out from here right off that 61.8 retracement of this leg back here. So I went ahead and drew a new leg from that double bottom up to the all-time high. 38% is all the way down at 46.47, and holding that, or even holding 50% down at 46.27 here, which is in an alignment here with this previous resistance in the market. That's still, holding that is still bullish territory, right? So in the most ideal sense, they're going to hold 91 or hold somewhere above the overnight low or the previous daily low. But a pullback deeper doesn't mean we're no longer, we've given up on the bulls and we expect some type of major correction. It just means we have some other levels to watch below us for potential bounces. So right now, we're going to jump over to the member section of our trade room here, start throwing some of our eye levels up on the chart and looking for some actionable trades coming into the open here. Keep in mind, everybody out there, that if we can't get through the previous daily high at 07, or if they come up and they test it and we get a bearish pattern up there, could be some type of failure, especially because we are continuing to make lower highs now from this larger perspective here. So leave that for now. Have a great rest of your day to everyone out there on YouTube land.